Hey guys, this is the Tangential Exchange.
Tangential Exchange.
As always, I'm Alex.
Tripp,
A little louder.
hey, I'm Tripp.
A little louder. What's going on with your thing, man?
In the mic.
Here, try it again. Maybe if I make yours go up a little bit. I'm just gonna leave this in.
In my mic, I sound super loud, so I don't know.
It's just barely registering. Hold on, let me turn it down so I don't end up blasting myself out like last time. But yeah, so we're here. Yeah, I am way too loud. We have been drinking, clearly. By the way, since we started the podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah, ooh, it cracks it.
A little bit of broken glass in my mouth.
Yeah,
It's
making
okay.
sure you don't just babysit the whole time.
I'll babysit you.
What?
Stop.
Excuse me? But yeah, we were going to talk about adult animation, but honestly, I think I'm going to kind of lead it with some of the shows that I was talking about last time. So it's been obviously a little bit since we recorded the last Tangential Exchange. I finished watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. For people out there who haven't finished it, I will say that it definitely picked up. It was slow in the beginning,
Yeah.
but like it definitely did, and like that finale was. If that finale was basically the level that finale was on, I'm like, I wish the whole show was on that same level, because like once it ramped up, it really ramped up. I get it, you're trying to build up tension and like build up like the story and everything, but like this ain't like a movie, man. Like just come on, like you gotta hook people. Like I know it's the Marvel universe and everybody watches it just now kind of out of habit and everything, but like ramp it up a little bit. That being said, I also did finish Invincible.
Oh, nice.
Really good, also really good finale. That one was much more all over the place. Like there were definitely aspects of it I really liked. Like when it was good, it was really good, but when it was kind of slow, or like it was much more, the word I would use is episodic than like most streaming shows are today. Like it would have like an overarching story, but it's much more like something like we grew up with, like the early 2000s shows, where it's like, yeah, like they have like a continuity or like an overarching story that goes throughout the season, but they also do have these kind of like one-off adventures in each episode. It's kind of like these throwaway like like villains that they fight, and I know it does tie in, but like ultimately it's just like like it's much more true, I guess, to original comics, where comics originally were not made with continuity in mind. It was just kind of one of those things where you kind of just like, they're assuming people maybe just read them for like maybe a few years when they're kids and then just drop them, so they don't really worry that much about continuity or anything.
Right.
Or anything really connecting, so each one is kind of its own story kind of thing. But yeah, I did really enjoy that. On a total personal side note, you remember that superhero thing I made called The Fog?
Yeah.
Yeah. There were elements of Invincible. I'm like, okay, I'd never finished writing it, so I would have to change this and that, like this aspect and that one. Not that it was like dead on, like similar in how that final episode unfolded, but I'm like, I would have to change aspects of the storyline to make it, more where it's like, oh, it's just way too similar to how Invincible did it. That's my own fault. I didn't finish that series.
Right.
But yeah, like I really liked it. I actually watched a podcast that I listened to called Let's Do This. It's a horror movie. It's called Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. And I actually really like that. It's a TV movie, so obviously I think I told you earlier, like the violence and everything, like there's not really, they cut away, you maybe see a little blood.
It's an old movie, right?
From like 81,
okay.
So yeah, like pretty old. But yeah, like I liked it, the characters were cool. I know it's got kind of like a little bit of a cult following. I'm glad I watched it. Basically the simple premise, you can also watch it for free on YouTube. But the basic premise is that, so like there's this mentally handicapped guy who is like in his 30s. He's friends with like this younger girl, and like this group of guys have a problem with it. And so like they'll always just kind of have it out for him. So one day they go near like the guy who's named Bubba, who's like the guy who's got the mental problems, and the girl go near like this dog, and the dog attacks the girl, and he like runs up. He's like, "I didn't do it," kind of thing, because he knows immediately people are gonna automatically pin it on him because they think the girl is dead.
Yeah.
And so like the guy's like go after him, and like he goes and hides. Like he goes to his mom's like, "I didn't do it. I don't know where to go." She's like, "Go play, like go hide," kind of thing. And so like he does. He hides in like the scarecrow, and like they use like bloodhounds, and the dog like stops there. And so at first like they kind of have this moment where they're kind of just like looking at him, and they just start shooting him, kind of thing. And then it comes over the radio. They said, where are you guys? Turns out that this guy actually saved this girl, and like she's alive, kind of thing, and like he's already dead, so clearly, you know. But yeah, like they get away with it, and like they start mysteriously disappearing. Like there's like someone's taking them out, they just don't know who. Like they have their suspicions, but I'll just leave it at that. I will say it's like an hour and 36 minutes, so like it's easily like digestible. Like it's not like something that's gonna take like you a long time. It's not like the Snyder Cut or whatever. It's not like a 4-hour thing. Like it's like an hour 36 minutes. You probably knock that out pretty quickly.
Right.
But I would definitely recommend that. I will say there's like a twist at the end that I didn't see coming. I know I was warned there was going to be like a crazy ending, but I did not see the way it turned out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the characters are really memorable. The writing's pretty good for like a TV movie, and I see why it has its fans. Like it's pretty good. I wasn't really ever scared during it, but like it's it's good. It's good movie. I need to also check out Jupiter's Legacy. I think it's that new superhero show on Netflix
with Jason Dumal.
Who's that?
That's the guy with the big gray beard in there.
Oh, okay, the guy with the long hair.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's also played. Oh wait, that's Timothy Oliphant. Sorry, I mix them up all the time. Not the same guy.
Gotcha.
I forgot where he's from.
But yeah, that, and then also me and you were talking about it. We watched that Down to Earth Zac Efron
I love
show.
Zac Efron, yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, like I was telling Amanda. Oh, by the way, she's not here, so like the inmates are running the asylum today. We can get as crazy as we want to. But yeah, that was pretty good. It's basically him just going around the world and finding better ways to, I guess, live, and also to help the planet as well.
Yeah.
I really liked it. It was really educational. Like
I want season 2.
Yeah, I kind of equated it to kind of like when you were in school. I don't know about you, but like whenever I was in school and they would do like those educational things, like maybe a Bill Nye or something, like I would cringe sometimes at Bill Nye. But like some of the stuff like that, where it's just like I would actually get really into that stuff when most people just be like, I'm watching this stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like it's like educational for like adults though. Like I learned things there that I wouldn't otherwise probably know. But yeah, I would recommend that. I was just kind of sitting there one day and I was like, you know what? I got some time. I'll check this out. Like, it was pretty feel good, but also didn't pull its punches either with, like, we need to start really helping the environment and, like, fixing things. Otherwise, there won't be a world for us to, like,
have Zac Efron in.
Yeah, but have Zac Efron in. Oh, by the way, we're not at the 30-minute mark yet, but I noticed that your drink is a little bit too full. We got a different one this time. Usually we get the Apothic Crush. This time we get Beauty and Chaos. So, like, I just like the label, so that's why we actually drink it. Drink. You'll drink me? You want to try that again? But yeah, I try not to. Oh, yes. We were going to talk today about, sorry, just kind of trailed off there for a second.
We're going to do some heavy editing.
Yeah, some heavy editing.
Cut my parts completely.
Oh, yeah, it's like, why are you just talking to yourself the whole time? You keep gesturing to this person, but they never say anything. But yeah, we were talking about, like, adult animation. But before that, I wanted to bring up, I watched a little, speaking of, we did the Terror Lake thing recently, like the little commentary. I watched one of your films recently.
Hey, you did, eh?
Red Lantern.
Yeah.
Pretty good. You can find it on YouTube. I'll probably include a link somewhere, but...
Yeah, I need some more views. Put a link.
Yeah. But, like, I was the same thing kind of with the Down to Earth thing. I think I was just scrolling through, instead of Netflix, it was YouTube one day, and I was just like, going through my subscriptions on the channel. I was just like, oh, Tripp's right here. Here, I haven't seen this before. What's this? And I clicked on it. First one was the dubbed one where it dubbed out the cussing and it was your voice instead of his voice. Yeah. And I was just
What's
like...
the director's cut?
Yeah, I was like, the director's cut was better, but... yeah, that was interesting. I liked it. It was pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, but...
I think it was the most production I'd put into any of those YouTube videos. That was probably the biggest one, and then I stopped doing it. But...
Except for the animation one. Is that on the same channel?
That is the same one, yeah. That was about it, but like physical production and when people...
Because that one, I was impressed. I was like, oh, yeah, they're pretty cool. Like, I like the little mask at the beginning. I'm like, honestly, like, I know you're probably pretty young when you made that. I'm like, that's better than anything I was making then. Like, I was actually like, oh, it's pretty good.
Thanks.
But yeah.
Can you imagine if I would have kept going with it?
Oh yeah, you would have been like, I ain't got time for this podcast. I'm making my films.
That's right, I'm making quality movies.
I'm freaking Spielberg over here. But oh, whoa, the smoke is getting to me again. Oh yeah, it's just my throat. My body's starting to reject itself. But yeah, we were talking about adult animation. We don't know how long we're gonna stay on this topic because honestly, we both don't really have a ton to say. But we rewatched. Early internet was really weird, man.
Oh God.
Like
you showed me that just like
show cartoon, yeah, because like when I was when I was in middle school, or not middle school, maybe junior high, like there was like this interactive thing called Joe Cartoon. Okay, my computer is acting up. But yeah, sorry guys. I'm just gonna leave that in. But yeah, like there was that, like it's like 10 pump BB gun or whatever.
Yeah, that 1, 2, 2 pumps.
Yeah, where he's like shooting at the gerbil or whatever, and I'm just like, early internet was really weird. Like honestly, like that used to be hilarious to me. I don't know if it's just because of the shock humor of it or what, but like, yeah, like. It was rough.
All I remember from that era... Well, I mean, I remember a bit...
Era.
Not
Era.
error. Remix. The frog that danced that that frog that was...
I don't remember that. Okay, what is that?
It was some frog back in the same...
Oh, are you talking about what is that?
Oh, that was nice. You hear that?
Is that Cotton Eye Joe one that danced the frog, the dun 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 dun, and like it would like it had like the weird like smiling face and everything?
Yeah, I think that's the same.
Crazy Frog or something. Era. Was that what was the name? Is Crazy Frog? Look it up on your phone.
Yeah, I wish I freaking knew.
But yeah, they used to have. I'm pretty sure that was one of the first things you could probably download on your phone was probably that ringtone, the Cotton Eye Joe thing. Or maybe it's that little animation, that little flash animation of the little frog guy.
Let's see. Crazy. It was called Crazy Frog.
Crazy Frog. That was it. Yeah, that's right.
I'm not gonna play it. I'm not
gonna do it. But
he was like riding on a fake Invincible bicycle, and he was like going through, and he was playing the music.
Right.
That's all I remember.
But yeah, I don't know if you also remember. I discovered it later. The Happy Tree Friends. Yeah, like that was something. That's something that's actually kind of gone mainstream now. Like I'm pretty sure you can watch that on streaming.
I just remember one that was on Newgrounds. Metal Gear Awesome, the Awesome series by Ego Raptor.
I don't know what is that? Explain that to me.
Oh man, that's.
Oh come on, man! Come on!
It was a spoof on the first Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah.
And Ego Raptor, which is now in Game Grumps, You know them.
Yeah. Because you showed me the Chew It.
Yeah,
that one.
Same guy.
Yeah.
They had a series called the Awesome series, and they would just put the title of whatever they're doing and add Awesome. So they had like Ninja Gaiden Awesome or Awesome Gaiden, whatever. Anyways, but they had Metal Gear, and it was the first game, and they were going through the whole thing.
Right.
And they would just pull out all the spoofs from it.
Gotcha. Kind of like the red versus blue type situation.
Fairly similar, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember that, and I remember... I think that's... I know Amanda showed me later. It wasn't animated, but it was like the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared thing.
Oh my God,
that thing was so creepy.
I love that series. It's amazing.
But yeah, that was interesting, is what I'll say.
Oh, look, a computer. An old man died.
Oh. But yeah, that was early internet's a lot different than like I feel like current internet is. Like you used to have a lot more of those.
Wastelands, man.
Yeah,
no
like
rules.
the two girls, one cup thing. I know you watched that at some point. You did it?
Oh yeah, I might have skimmed through it.
Yeah,
I might have skimmed it. Okay.
It was one of those things where it's like kind of like a car crash where you just have to look kind of thing. I remember being, this ain't bad. And then it got to the point where like they started, doing what they were doing, and then it's like, oh God. Oh.
All the other kids were talking about it. I had to find out what it was about.
And then there was the other, I'm probably going to cut half of this stuff out, but there was the other thing called like, never mind. No, that's too far for this. I was about to say, I was going to bring up something else, but you know what, we'll talk about that off air. But, yeah, there was stuff like that. I told you yesterday, there was a really messed up game where you could like kill like all your office workers and stuff, like throw like staplers at them and like shoot them with like guns and stuff. It was really messed up. Yeah, like it was like pretty rough. But yeah, I remember that, and just some of the other Newgrounds or just some of the other online games. Like you talk about Wasteland, man, it's just like basically anything, like just throw it up at the wall, because I think Newgrounds, it still exists. Like me and you were talking about that the other day, but like apparently that.
Have you looked at it recently?
I played through one of them the other day. That's how I played the Joe Cartoon thing. That actually works a lot better if you're interactive with it. It's just, it's not that funny, but yeah, it's funny when you're like, I could see 7th and 8th grade me laughing at that. Oh, yeah. But yeah,
eyes popping out, hilarious.
Oh yeah, or just like just random shock humor like that. Yeah. The little kid kind of looks like Stewie a little bit. Yeah. That's the vibe I got. It's like, I don't know if this was made around the time or during the time, but it kind of reminds me of it. But yeah, used to just be some crazy games online. There still is, but it's not as. I remember Happy Wheels, like playing that.
Cool.
Yeah, and just like the whole, you could play as the person like the shopping cart. I think now you have to pay to play. Pay to play like as those other characters. You can play as like the biker dad or whatever.
Right.
It's like an obstacle course for people that don't know what Happy Wheels are. It's like an obstacle course, but it's like really messed up. There's explosions and like other stuff in there. Like you get dismembered and then like whatever
that's
kind
like
of
the
thing.
Big thing about it,
Yeah. And then there's just like kind of stuff like that. But yeah, like it's interesting now. I think we just have like a glut of like just everything online. So like it's hard, right?
I mean, somewhere, but not there.
Right.
That was our mobile games.
Yeah. It was just that was it. And so like a lot, like you could probably more easily get discovered. I think Newgrounds was a I think pretty much anyone could submit to it, I'm pretty sure. That's probably why you had the crazier games on there. I don't know if you ever played, like, Stick Figure Assassin or something like that.
I think so. I do remember in in middle school of some sort, I remember Newgrounds was, like, anytime we had a computer class, like, all the kids were on Newgrounds.
Yeah.
I found it because one of the kids beside me was on Newgrounds. Like, oh, neat.
Oh, neat. What's Newgrounds?
Yeah, I found it from there, so that was fun.
Also, just you got me on a tangent. Oh, tangent.
Tangent. You said it. Come on.
You already got some in yours?
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah. So you finish yours first.
Yeah.
But yeah. Mm-hmm. There was this guy, and I don't even know if I should tell this story, but I'm going to anyway because it says explicit in the title of this show, so like we're good.
Yeah.
But I was in the library. This was like high school, and this guy was on the computer. You know how they have like the computers, they're like up on the tables in the library kind of thing.
Yeah.
This guy, like, there's people around him, and this guy was like really close to the computer.
What's important?
Yeah, basically like looking at some dirty pictures, and like homeboy was like, dude, there's people around. He's sitting there. Reaching in his pocket, yeah, seriously,
That's
reaching
cool.
in his pocket, like
Wow.
standing straight up. I'm like, dude, like the balls on this guy, but like he's like sitting there, just like grabbing it or whatever, like just sitting there, either that or he was just bumping into like the table. I was like, I think I finally said something because I was just getting really uncomfortable. I'm like, go get this guy, and then he's like, oh yeah, sorry, no, I was looking up other stuff or something like that.
Try to cover that up.
yeah, right. But, yeah, I can't believe that, man, because I'm like, everybody at some point, like, tried to look up some stuff on, the school computers, but, like, not to that level when you're sitting there, like, basically, like, you're alone. Like, it's almost like it didn't even matter that there were other people around him, like, he didn't care kind of thing. I'm like, Jesus. But, yeah, like, there was that, and then also, I guess I'll go ahead and get this story out of the way. I don't know if I should be telling this, but this might get cut out. We'll see. There was this guy, and I won't mention his name because,
yeah,
obviously don't want to put people out there like that. But we were doing, I've told you this, but we were doing, I think, the SATs, and I was in, like, the resource class. I think, no, it was in 8th grade. We weren't in high school. And so, like, nobody's allowed to go outside the room. Like, we're in our own resource class, so, like, we're kind of separated from the rest of the test-taking people, so, like, we can kind of focus better kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's only me and a few other people. So this guy kind of, hair, like, basically, not trying to be mean, his hair was, like, going up in each direction. He kind of looked a little crazy. Interesting guy. But, yeah, he, high-pitched voice, gets up, and he's just like, go use the bathroom. And so he goes, and, like, basically, like, the whole rest of the place is on lockdown. We got cameras out there. He, goes use the bathroom, comes back in, sits down. Some time passes by. Someone goes out in the hallway, and then we find out that there's, like, someone put, like, a piece of shit down in the middle of the hallway and just left it there. So, like, obviously, like, he's been the only one that's been outside that we know of. And so, like, he's just like, how you do it? Or whatever. Like, he's just sitting there, like, he's just insisting.
Oh,
yeah, he's just, like, insisting, like, how do you do it? And then, like, they went back, found the camera footage of him going into the bathroom, using the they didn't, obviously, like, they couldn't see him using the bathroom, but he comes out, something in his hand, drops it in the middle of the hallway, goes back into the room and sits down.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he just kept insisting that, like, he didn't do it.
Wow.
Guy's crazy, whatever. And I don't mean crazy, like, obviously there was some mental stuff going on. I mean crazy as in, like, what the hell's wrong with you kind of thing, like, like, Jesus. Another story about him real quick, and then we'll go back to the cartoon stuff. So, he, I guess this is going to be the story podcast, but he, I'm trying to decide which story I want to tell. Do you want, like, the longer story or, like, the shorter story that's funnier?
Yeah, give me the sum.
Alright, the shorter story is, it's just something mean that, like, no one should do, but, like, we kind of did. Is, like, one of my friends would used to mess with him because I think his dad had some money. And so, like, I've been over to his house before. That leads into the other story, but we'll save that for next podcast. He had a boat in his backyard. And so, my friend came up to him. He said, hey, I almost said his name, but I'm going to refrain. It's like, hey, we're just going to call him Henry. Hey, Henry. He's like, yeah? He's like, you know that boat in your backyard? He's like, yeah? He's like, I blew it up. He's like, I blew it up, man. I blew it up. It's just like, no, you didn't. He's like, this guy was known to be like, he'd be like calm for a minute, but then like short temper would be screaming like most of the time if you really got like him wound up kind of thing. So the guy was just screaming. We're sitting outside. It's like, yeah, man, I blew it up. It's like, no, you didn't, because I looked at it before I left. You didn't blow it up. And it's just like, yeah, I blew it up, man. I blew it up. And like he just got so mad, kept screaming, and then he just stopped after a while and just kind of like just looked around and just carried on about his business. Again, kids, don't bully. It was messed up, but like,
I hope he's okay now.
Yeah, I know more stories about him. You would not feel sorry for him if you heard some of the other things he did.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there. We'll leave it there for now. We already got too personal anyway with Henry. But yeah, what the hell was I talking about? I don't know. That completely just like... Oh yeah, like online games and stuff. Did you ever use on a total tangent? Oh, there we go.
You said it.
Yep.
Ow.
Ow. But yeah, did you ever use when you were in school that pivot stick figure animator?
Maybe.
Is that one where you had like, it was basically just like it was like an animation thing,
Yeah.
but it was very basic. So like you would, I could probably use it again. I think I showed you that one I did with like, it was like the mob or whatever, where
Yeah.
like they...
You make them fight each other and stuff?
Yeah, it kind of. But like you just animate it so like, you can make it story.
Yeah.
So like, I remember downloading that for, I think it was like, I don't remember ever really using it, but I remember we just had it on the computer, so like I would just kill time, like, you know, when I was supposed to be really doing schoolwork in high school. And so I'd just be sitting there. I think I made a story where, like, it was like this underwater thing, like where the main stick figure protagonist was on an island.
Yeah.
He went down below the surface, discovered like this treasure and like this big monster kind of thing. And like that's basically what I spent. Well, I was supposed to be studying and learning. That's what I spent basically that time doing.
Putting this animation together.
Yeah, basically. And like honestly, we should probably do stuff with that again. I know you used to do animation back at York Tech. We've talked about it before. I was about to not say the name, but I was like, yeah, we brought it up before.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, I was actually, fun fact, sometimes I listen to old Trippiverse stuff. Again, how many times can I bring that podcast up? But yeah, and you were talking about, I forgot about this, but apparently we were going to animate some of the stuff from there. I don't know if that ever got, like, that would have been really hard to do, so I don't really blame you for, like, rephrasing, because, like, at the time, I'm like, nah, man, it's simple. Like, I wanted to be like, there's a site that no longer exists called Spill.com where they would animate their, like, podcasts and everything. Kind of like what you were talking about with Game Grumps a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they would do stuff like that. But, like, I get why we didn't ultimately end up doing it. But, yeah, I guess, like, originally this podcast was supposed to be us talking about, like, adult animation and why people don't really do it that much. But, like, they kind of do. Like, it just depends what avenues you look at.
There's, like, of now, well, Heavy Metal is an old one, and then Love, Death, and Robots, which is
right
coming out, and that looks amazing.
Did you know that basically, based off your tastes and everything, I found this out, that the algorithm for, like, it's basically in a random order, but, like, based off your taste, it will lay it out in a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
On
like,
Netflix?
if you go to your Netflix and then you go to someone else's, you'll find totally different shit, depending on what they watch.
Is it, like, different, like, episodes, or is it just, like, a different order for the episodes?
It's whatever you watch majorly. Like, I know my sister's kids watch a bunch of anime and stuff, so anytime you log into the Netflix, because we have one account or so,
right.
you find just a bunch of anime out there all the
Right.
time. And same with ratings, too, I noticed. Like, if you like something more, they're rated higher for you.
Because they asked me that after the Down to Earth one, and most of the time
Yeah.
I don't even bother with it. But for this one, I'm like, you know what? I would like to see more stuff kind of similar to this. Like, definitely send more stuff like that my way, kind of thing. I know Netflix is kind of... It's still a big deal, but it is kind of getting gobbled up by all the other, like, streaming apps now. I know for a while Netflix kind of reigned supreme over all the other, like, streaming apps, but it seems now, like, you got Disney Plus, you got
yeah, after quarantine, everyone was like, we're all doing streaming.
yeah HBO Max, which is really cool because then you get to see
you have What's that?
Mortal
iPhone?
Kombat?
No, iPhone Mac. What is
iPhone Max?
No, what is Apple? Sorry, Apple.
Apple TV.
Apple TV. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I was just like, iPhone Max? I
was
haven't heard of that.
iPhone. I was like, okay, Apple.
Yeah, but you got stuff like that, which is, I think HBO Max has more of a leg up on the other ones because they're actually, WB is releasing their like movies same day on like the streaming
Oh, nice.
apps or on their streaming, but that's not going to last obviously once things start opening back up. They're just doing that now to kind of, get people still interested, get some money still flowing in.
Right.
Apparently numbers didn't change based off the Snyder Cut or whatever. Like they were expecting a lot of people to start subscribing. Apparently not. Which, I mean, I liked it. I liked the movie. It was good, but like I get it. Like, like it is kind of pricey. Like HBO Max is a little bit more expensive than the other streaming services. Amazon Prime does not do any advertising for any of their stuff. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, I haven't seen nothing for it.
Like half the time, like I know about that because I see one ad for it. The other streaming apps, you'll at least see a few of them. But like with that one, for whatever reason, they just, I've heard they figure like, you're already using us so that you can get like same day shipping and everything. So like with their shows, they're like, if you watch them, you watch them. If not, whatever. We're still getting your money kind of thing. But yeah, 30-minute mark, 31-minute mark. Let me just go ahead and pour that. You want some more?
No. Time
out. Oh, you good?
Yeah.
You want me to stop?
Yeah, for a second.
Alright. Guess who's back?
Back
again. Tripp is back. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
He had to go tinkle.
Shut up.
Shut up. You're not supposed to say that on air. But yeah, completely lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Shit, man.
Come on. Shit, man.
Shit. I don't know, man.
I forgot 3 drinks ago. But, we talked about Pivot. And then, you know what, we're just going to wing it. We did watch Hellboy earlier. Full disclosure, kind of behind the scenes. Like, we recorded the Hellboy one and then this Tangential Exchange around the same time. So you guys get, like, double dose kind of thing. What? Yeah. But, yeah, that one was more adult than I expected it to be. Because I know it was on Stars, but still it's like not rated, so I was surprised we saw blood or like anything.
Right.
The girls didn't have nipples, that was pretty weird.
They had boobs, but not nipples.
Yeah, it's like basically like Barbies or whatever. But yeah, we can get more explicit on this show versus What Mean. Yeah, because What Mean we can't talk about. Well, we can, but like it's much more. I wouldn't say family friendly because like none of my content is really super family friendly, but like. I would be more willing to show, like, my parents, or, like, just anybody in general, like, that, versus people, like, basically anybody that's gonna be, like, easily offended by me cussing or anything, or me getting, like, vulgar, like, I would easily show them What Mean before I would show them the Tangential Exchange.
Fuck.
Tangential, yeah, there you go. Fuck. But, yeah, Tangential Exchange is much more like, I wouldn't say edgy, that's like the wrong word, but like it's like much more like true to our conversations in real life. Like much more us just kind of like unfiltered, hence like the tangent part of it where we just go ADD, man, like that's the biggest part of it. Just start shouting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just start shouting into the microphone. Thanks for that. I'm gonna have to edit that later. Awesome. But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and tell that other story that I had about that kid.
Okay.
Yeah, because until we come up with something else. So one day, and I will leave names out again. Henry, yeah, and my best friend, we will call him George, yeah, George, there we go. I was trying to think of something that was close to his name without, like, fully giving away.
He's George now.
So anyway, this was at a time where I didn't have a car, and so, like, I was going to get a ride home from them, because, like, it was the guy had, George my best friend had the car, and so he was going to drive me home, and I was closer because he lived in the same neighborhood as me.
Yeah.
I was closer than like any of the other people that were in the car. But then Henry, of all people, showed up, and I was just like, I gotta get home. My sister's waiting for me at this point. Like, I need to get home. I need to let her in the house, kind of thing, because she doesn't have a key, and also at this point she's pretty young, and so like I need to be home to make sure she's good. So like George like sees Henry over there, and Henry's just like walks up. And Henry's got money, so Henry's just like, hey, I need a ride or something like that. And I was just like, man, come on, man. Like, it's like, this guy's weird. Let's go. Kind of thing. He's like, no, come on. He's giving me money. We'll give him a ride home first, kind of thing. And I was just like, dude, literally, like, you pass our place before you even get to his. Like, he lives all the way, like, at the place we're at. I'm trying not to give too much away about where we were going to school then, because I don't want that stuff out. But at the school we were at, he was at least like maybe 40 minutes away from there.
Yeah.
So like right near the border kind of thing, if you know where I'm talking about.
Sure.
But yeah, so I was like, man. So I'm sitting in the back of the car, kind of stressing out, driving, and my sister is like, getting the bus home. So she gets home, and I start getting texts from my mom, and I'm trying my best to just ignore and be like, hey, are you home? Your sister's home. Let her in, kind of thing. And so I'm like, I ignore that one. And I'm just like, okay, ignore that one. Matter, kind of thing. Like, no big deal. We drive all the way over there. He gets out of the car. I'm like, dude, like, you already dropped him off. He's like, no, like, come on. He wants to show us the inside of his house and everything. We go in there. Whoa. We go in there. He's got like a full bar in there. Oh, so wow. My friend immediately is just like, George is immediately just like, yo, man, look at all this stuff. And we see the boat, the boat from the previous story. We see that. We see that back there. So, get another call from my mom, and like another one. Basically, I'm just dodging calls at this point. My sister cannot get into the house. I find this out. Like, she went over to George's parents' house and was hanging out over there. Mom is pissed. So like at this point, I'm kind of stuck over there. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, it's not my fault. I tried to go home. I should have just ridden the bus. But like, I'm there. I'm trying to be cool with it. Trying to just kind of roll with it. Like whatever. Kind of thing. And then I'm like, dude, like, come on, man, we gotta go. It's like, hold on, man, like, he's showing us some stuff. He's got some alcohol here. He doesn't drink, but still, like, he's like, let's just check this place out. He's got a boat. Like, let's just chill for a second.
How old were you guys at this time?
We were in like 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so that explained a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we're hanging out there, and then eventually, after the longest time, I'm like, dude, I need to go. Like, because George knows my mom, and knows, like he's basically, like, a part of the family kind of thing. And so I'm like, dude, like, I need to go. So it's like, okay, fine. Like, let's go kind of thing. We finally leave. It's been, like, 35 minutes. My sister's over at his place by then, and, like, my mom is, like, pissed. So, like, I see, like, all these messages, like, Alex, where are you? Alex, what's going on? Like, why haven't you called me back? Alex, answer the phone. Like, I listen to the voicemails, and progressively, they get more and more aggressive with each call. I don't know if you've ever encountered that before. Yeah. But it's like you're in the first one. It's like, hey, I haven't heard from you.
Hey, what up, fuck?
Yeah. Basically, yeah, without the swearing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like after a while, my mom's just like, patience is worn thin. I finally pick up the phone. My mom's just like, where are you? And I'm just like, I didn't want to get my best friend in trouble, so I said, we had to drop somebody off, and it ended up taking longer than we expected, kind of thing. Like. But yeah, my mom was pissed. Never let that go. But yeah, that was the other story. It wasn't as funny. The shorter story was funnier. But that was more just like the time that Henry inconvenienced me. But yeah, like a lot of the stuff that I remember from back then doesn't really hold up Like, that's the thing, is they say never, like, they say never go back or never, like, look back at stuff you grew up with when you were younger. Because most of the time it doesn't. It's just not as good. And, like, you have a more critical eye the older you get. Sometimes, you know, you're proven wrong. Like, I know there are certain things that I will say have stood the test of time. Like, certain, like Batman the Animated Series is still really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other things we grew up with.
Teen Titan.
Teen Titans is still really good. Did you see the Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans?
No.
That was pretty good. I would recommend that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed that. But yeah, it's actually on HBO Max if you have like a subscription. Like, it's for free as well as the first Teen Titans Go, the movies. That one was actually really good. I enjoyed that one more than the sequel.
Nice.
But yeah, Titans though, the show, that shit's terrible, man. Like, I don't know if you've
The live
seen
action?
it. Yeah.
I've seen it, and I enjoyed bits of it, but yeah, I don't know if it ever could compare to the original.
It's just like the Robin stuff is great. That stuff is really good. From the second season, a little bit I saw, because I didn't finish it because it just got to the point where they got certain stuff with like Hawk and Dove got really dumb. And I was just like, whatever. But Jason Todd, I like who they cast as Jason Todd. He was cool.
Yeah.
Deathstroke was really cool too. I liked that stuff, but just some of the other stuff surrounding it, I'm like, I don't care about Starfire in that show. I don't. It's just like, I don't know, like, just like the first season is so different than the second season. Second season is much more comic book like. The first season is like, I heard that the creator of that had a bunch of like either studio interference or they basically just rewrote a bunch of it and changed like the finale, because you know Trigon figures into the finale of that, like the father or whatever. But yeah, like that show, it seems like, I'm like, if y'all ain't done yet, why did you release this? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like come up with like a good vision for it, or just like, you know, work on it until like it's at a place where it's good.
Or don't make it at all.
Yeah, or just don't release it at all. But,
Here's an idea.
Yeah, here's an idea. How about you just don't? It's like that Jeff Goldblum thing from Jurassic Park. It's like, you're so concerned that if you could, you never thought if you should. But yeah, there was that. Speaking of like Zack Snyder, like I remember, I guess tying loosely into adult animation, there was, you know, the Watchmen thing called the Culpeper Minute, which is basically just like, if you ever read the comic, it's basically like their version of like a news package from the 80s of like Under the Red Hood, where they go over a bunch of stuff that they would have gone over in the original comic kind of thing. But yeah, that was cool. And then like the animation, I remember just watching it, and Gerard Butler, Zack Snyder guaranteed him a role in the movie, and I know eventually they edited that stuff, because that Tales from a Back Freighter, that's kind of like a pirate comic that kind of runs at the same time as the book, and like kind of figures in like thematically, it's like one of the characters in the book is reading it, and so like it fits in with the book. It kind of is like thematically tied to it, where like a certain character in the book is kind of like, it's kind of meant, it's like, oh, this character is similar to this person here in this thing. But yeah, Gerard Butler's guaranteed a role in the movie. I remember the animation just being really violent and disturbing, and I was way more sensitive back then than I am now. So like I remember watching it with George, and just being like, I couldn't watch it by myself because it was just really horrifying and like gory and everything. But yeah, like stuff like that, I just, you know, you're so used to seeing, like, because back then, like, you know, I watched Dragon Ball Z, but I mean,
I didn't watch the Watchmen. I didn't even know they had a Watchmen animation. But speaking of that, I do remember Animatrix. Do you remember that?
Yeah, like the tie-in kind of thing. I
Yeah.
didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about.
I have it on DVD, baby.
yeah, pop it out right now. We'll just keep recording. But yeah,
that was a good one.
yeah, there was that, and then there was I told you earlier about that. It's not really it's adult, like it's PG-13. But the Dark Knight series, I told you earlier, they had that Gotham Knight thing. We're kind of similar to Animatrix. They had like a bunch of different anime studios make like their version of Batman with like they had like American like comic book writers write the stories for him though, so it wasn't like Ninja Batman. Good God, do not ever watch Ninja Batman. Ninja Batman. Me and Aaron watched that one time, and we thought, oh, like we'll just pick this up. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. The animation looks kind of interesting. Do not watch that movie. Movie is terrible.
Me and Aaron watched it too.
Yeah. I mean, like, even after like copious amounts of alcohol,
yeah,
it was still terrible.
Yeah, like it had cool scenes. I liked some of the ideas, but yeah, it was a lot of cliches in there.
I remember just watching it at one point. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? It was just like, what are we doing? Like, Ninja Batman.
It was a fever dream.
Like, first off, Batman is already a ninja if you go by certain continuities anyway. But it's just like, God. But yeah, anyway. There was that stuff. There was the Gotham Knight, like I said, where it's like different animation styles that they say it ties into the Dark Knight. It doesn't really. Like, you look at that, it doesn't really look at all similar to how he looks in those movies. It's basically just like an excuse for DC animation at the time to make like kind of like an anime Batman like offshoot where it's kind of like what are those called? Like they kind of loosely tie together. It's what's the word for that? Like there's separate stories. Anthology, yeah. It's kind of like an anthology series, except it kind of loosely ties in with each other. We should watch that one day for the podcast. That'd be interesting to, like, sit and watch kind of thing. But, yeah, like, I guess the lesson I learned with a lot of this stuff is don't go back and watch, like, a lot of the animation that you used to watch when you were, like, younger, because odds are it's probably not gonna hold up. Like, similar to a date I had one time, I apologized to you for like what we just watched. The other time I apologized for it was Joe Cartoon for us, but like fun fact, another time Emil what's that guy's name? The guy who made District 9.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he made that movie Chappie.
I thought it was good.
What?
I thought it was fun.
But I remember watching that, and I think maybe part of it was just maybe the trailers sold me on a different movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Maybe I was going in expecting much more of a like thoughtful, like introspective kind of thing where it's just like much more of a touching story, and it just wasn't that at all.
Right.
I'm like, I remember just watching it and leaving.
Yeah, I don't think it reaches the heart of District 9, but it had the same vibe.
I'll be honest, he peaked at District 9.
District 9 was awesome, yeah, and I would love to see a sequel, but
I haven't seen that movie in a while. We should probably, that'd be fun to do like a what mean kind of retrospective review on it.
Right.
But yeah, I remember watching that when I was younger and just being blown away at like the visual effects and how like the aliens looked and everything.
But I thought Chappie had a nice vibe. Like it was still original. It was still original, I thought.
Original doesn't always translate to good though. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, from what I remember when I watched it, which was forever ago, I thought it was fun. Like I wasn't going deep into it, like, well, this blah blah. But I thought it was just a fun movie.
So it was my fault. That's what you're saying?
No, it was just a fun movie. Just a fun movie.
What part of it was fun? You had like
a robot running around saying, "I'm Chappie, Chappie."
No, like you have like these like
they advertised PlayStation 4s in there. Like one.
That's supposed to fix the movie for me?
No, but I thought it was cool.
You thought it was cool, huh?
You thought Joe Cartoon was cool.
Oh no, yeah. When I was younger, I apologize for that shit.
I have apologized.
On
several occasions.
What do you want from me? But yeah, what? Are you serious? I have to rethink this whole thing. But yeah, like what part of this was fun? The wannabe like gangsters, like the people.
They're a band. Do you know they're a band?
Yeah. I don't care. What is their name? Die Antwood or whatever.
Die Antwood. That's the band. Yeah.
Yeah, these people that he hired that can't act, like go into this movie with like no heart. Basically, they basically make him be like wannabe gangster too, where like they get him to walk and stuff. I'm like, who the hell is this for? I'm just like, is it like, pick a lane? Like, either it's, I know that there are movies that can be like comedies and be like action stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are going way too far, or dipping your toe way too far in certain genres for it to be like just that one thing.
Right.
Like, pick one. Either it's a comedy or it's like an action thing. Like, what is it? Like, what? And then that stupid subplot with like, it's Sigourney Weaver's in it for some reason.
I forgot about her.
Yeah, and like she has that stupid line about because she was an alien, about the turn them all to ash or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, we get it, because like in the first Alien, the cyborg guy who beat you up or whatever, who was just really shitty to you, was named Ash. Haha, funny joke. We get it. But yeah, and then you had Hugh Jackman in there, like with like a mullet. And, like, he was just, like, wasn't he, like, just this weird, like, dude bro or whatever? Yeah, like, that movie was stupid, dude. Like, honestly, like, I apologized to my date afterwards. That's how bad it was. Because I felt bad that I picked that out. Terrible movie just in general. And on that same note, X-Men Apocalypse, I don't care what y'all say about Dark Phoenix. At least Dark Phoenix had its moments. X-Men Apocalypse sucked ass. I don't know, have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
But yeah, Aaron will defend that movie, and I'm like, dude, like, literally, like, that was like the worst, like, X-Men movie, and I am including X-Men Wolverine, that I have ever seen.
Oh my god.
Movie was disappointing. You wasted Oscar Isaacs more than the sequel series for Star Wars wasted Oscar Isaacs. Like, let's be real. He looked like freaking, what's his name from the Power Rangers? What's that guy's name? The whatever. Anyway, he looked terrible. That movie was bad. We didn't really need a reason for why Professor X lost his hair, but we got it anyway, I guess. It was during a psychic battle. And here's my other thing about those two. I like those movies for the most part. But one of the biggest flaws for me is don't set it in each era. If you're not going to really have them age, then just set it like maybe like a year after the previous one, or like 2 years after the previous one. That way you don't have to like age them. Because my whole thing with that is like, Quicksilver is like in the 90s, and I know they discovered him in the 70s, and he was like that kind of same age. He hasn't dramatically aged, and neither has like Professor X or Magneto, and like that whole thing, I'm just like, dude, like, if you're gonna do that, you know, each one takes place in a different time period, then commit to it. Get old age makeup, age them up in each one, you know, subtly, like you can do for the second one, maybe just have like him just like add some wrinkles or something, but then the further it goes on, maybe add some gray to their temples, that kind of thing.
Push his hairline back or something.
Yeah, something other than just like, oh no, like, basically, like, we're just gonna, they look the same age, because we don't feel like putting old age makeup on them, even though this takes place in the 90s. Man, fuck Fox Marvel, man. I like Logan, I will say that. Logan was good. Logan was probably the best movie they've ever made, other than First Class was really good. I know it has its flaws, but that's probably the other best one they made, was First Class. Days of Future Past it's okay. I don't like Bryan Singer's X-Men anymore because, like, obviously he's a terrible person. And even then, before that, I'm like, those weren't super strong. Like, I liked X2. But other than that, I'm just like, those movies were ashamed to be, like, it came out in that time when, like, people were ashamed to be superheroes. Where it's like, we're going to call them these names, but we're going to have them wear leather, or we're not going to fully commit to their costumes.
Right.
Yeah, and, like, they would have, like, little, like, cheeky, you know, kind of, like, you know, like, jokes about it. It's like, well, what'd you expect, yellow and blue spandex? That's what Wolverine said. It's like, yeah, actually, because that's what's in the comics,
Actually,
dude.
we did.
Yeah, actually, we did. Yeah, we're close to the hour mark. Drink your alcohol, sir. It's a little harsher than that other one I usually have is. It's a little rough. A little rough.
A little rough.
But yeah, anyway, going on the rant about the Fox X-Men stuff. Their shows were pretty good though. I will say that.
X-Men shows?
Yeah, also, I forgot to mention this. I know I bring up Legion all the time. That probably, and I left it out just now, but Legion is probably my favorite out of, like, all the X-Men, like, Fox X-Men stuff they came up with. Like, that show, do yourself a favor. It's only 3 seasons, and, like, they're, like, 8 or 6 episode seasons. I think maybe 10 at the max. Watch that. That's really good. I love how... It's a lot to get into. I probably, honestly, will do a what mean because it's too much to sum up on here. But, like, yeah, like, you would definitely... Because you haven't seen Wes Anderson movies yet, have you? Not, Grand Budapest?
No, I haven't seen that one. I've been wanting to, but I haven't.
Moonrise Kingdom?
Nope.
Royal Tenenbaums?
Nope.
Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Bits.
Okay. Life Aquatic.
Yeah, man, I apparently haven't watched
Dude,
that
those are like right. Me and Amanda were talking about that. Like that stuff is like right down your alley. Like with how it's laid out and everything. Like you would really like it.
Oh yeah, I've seen some videos. You know,
I Love the Dogs.
Yeah, I've seen bits of that one too. I didn't know they were all by Wes Anderson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'll have to look further into his work because every bit I hear of him is always like stuff I'm intrigued by, like the Budapest Hotel.
That's his best one. I think.
Yeah, like the color design and how he put it together in the scenes. I was like, it's really cool. I'm surprised I haven't seen it.
That's mine and Amanda's favorite one.
Have we reviewed that one yet?
No, not yet. We were gonna wait. Amanda was shocked you hadn't seen any of those. Just like it's right down like your aesthetic, like. Not exactly, because your aesthetic is slightly different, but very much like in terms of like who you are. Like you would, it very much lines up with like your taste. Is what I would say. Like you would very much like it.
Oh yeah.
That and Moonrise Kingdom is also really good.
Yeah.
Like that was the first Wes Anderson movie I ever saw. My friend Dylan, who hasn't been on this podcast yet, or I mean, this podcast or What Mean, but might be one day. He was on my old YouTube channel, but he showed me Moonrise Kingdom one day when we were hanging out, and that really good. Like really enjoyed it. Really good movie. But yeah, like after that, all that rant that I just did and everything, I think we were talking briefly about their TV shows like X-Men. Obviously the 90s series was really great.
Yeah, I remember that one.
If Marvel doesn't take advantage of that, I know that the X-Men like movie series for a minute did I think like an instrumental version of that maybe.
I love that shit.
But I'm just like if Marvel doesn't immediately just take that soundtrack and just drop it in to like their version, I'm just like just do it. It's right there. Just it's right there waiting for you to do it. Just go ahead and just just that's a good way to win over any of us kind of thing. Just throw that at the beginning.
That intro
is
fire.
Yeah, like that's honestly, to be real, probably the best part of most of those shows because like the animation is kind of limited and like the stories are good, but also some of the acting is it's okay.
Yeah, just keep the intro, then do whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. You got
don't
it.
Don't fuck the intro. Do the rest. I don't care what you do.
Yeah. Fuck this. Don't fuck it up. But yeah, I also kind of wish, on a side note, because we had talked about WandaVision before, really wish that they had just... I know at the time they didn't have the licensing and everything, but I really wish that was Quicksilver from the Fox movies. But I know that they weren't going to do that in like a smaller series.
Right, which sucks because we were talking about that being, or theorizing that that's how X-Men was going to come in. But no.
But no, gotta have it your own.
Never mind.
Yeah, they're going to do it in the movies, though, you know. But yeah, speaking of, whenever that Black Widow movie comes out.
Show?
No, it's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie? Okay.
Yeah, the Black Widow movie that they've been pushing off, releasing for the longest time.
I thought it was going to be a series. Is Loki going to be a series?
Loki's going to be a series.
Okay, cool. I thought they were all series.
Loki gives me very much, like, in terms of some of the settings, too, like Legion vibes. Just like how it's kind of like... That Legion's also kind of like Wes Anderson-y. Or just kind of like Stanley Kubrick is what I would compare it to in terms of like how it looks and some of the layouts and everything. The Fly.
Oh shit, that's someone else.
That's it. What?
Who's that guy?
Are you talking about Jeff Goldblum?
No, the director.
I don't know. That is
Cronenberg.
That's it. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. Why
Kubrick is The Shining.
Okay, similar
Yeah.
timing. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I don't
Same
know.
era.
Tying it back in. But yeah, yeah, like that. Honestly, I'm looking forward to the Loki show. Look, Falcon and Winter Soldier was good, but honestly, there was a lot of slow parts. And after seeing like Scarlet Witch and all that stuff and WandaVision, I'm like, Loki's gonna be like probably real. Like it's probably gonna blow our minds to the back of the auditorium.
I'm excited. I've been looking forward to that for a while, for sure.
It's definitely going to be trippy, like anything involving like Loki. Also, just side note, I know I mentioned this way back when we used to do the Trippiverse, but if you have a Disney Plus app and you want to just check out some solid, just like really good, like Marvel content, check out, I think it's called, it's Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That came out, it was either around the same time or before the Avengers movie, but like they have aspects, like they take the best parts out of all of the Marvel stuff. So like they'll have like comic book stuff, but they'll also have like the Tony Stark in there kind of sounds similar to Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, nice.
It's around that time. But yeah, like that's really good. It's really solid. I would highly recommend that. Like I was rewatching a little bit of that, and also Smallville. I don't know if I'd recommend that. It's not the best. I have a lot of nostalgia attached to it. It has its moments, but definitely like Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes is good. Do not watch Avengers Assemble. That show is shit. But yeah, definitely check that out. I think they even dip into, from what I've heard, like the Winter Soldier storyline. And also I know they definitely tie into like the Secret Invasion. Like they bring that up in that show. Yeah, so definitely check that out. I guess that's it. We're about like the hour mark right now, so unless you have anything else. This has been the Tangential Exchange. I'm Alex.
I'm Tripp.
And we will see you guys next time.